IVM.
Hi, welcome to Smile India, the podcast that gets you uplifting news from across India. I'm your host, Shifa Maitra. Hope you're having a good time gearing up for a different Diwali this year. I'm thrilled with the no crackers policy. And I'm also glad to see how many goodies are being made at home or ordered via home chefs. Local for vocal is my mantra this time. And buying diyas from street vendors is what I would recommend to you as well. Ankit Agarwal is an entrepreneur who has taken Diwali gifts to the next level. This MBA from Pune decided to take a different path. Things that always bothered him were the ones that everyone saw but never noticed. Like how flowers that were offered to gods in temples or mosques were treated as waste and dumped into rivers every day, clogging them. Or how women who worked as sanitation workers were never treated with respect. So he, with a partner Prateek Kumar, launched a company called Phool. They collect flowers from places of worship before they're thrown into the river. They then dry them, treat them, and make incense sticks and cones from them. A large part of the workforce is women who were previously sanitation workers. They are now happy to be doing this job where they get respect along with a salary and medical benefits. The promoters have been working through the lockdown and have now created Fleather, leather made out of temple flowers. This material is as strong as leather and is being used to make bags and upholstery. Next up is a fabric made from plant stumps that farmers end up burning. Just to thank this innovative entrepreneur, I bought some products from Phool. A great initiative has come to light in Maharashtra, where the education department has tied up with the forest department and made this amazing plan. From the next academic year, every class 10 and 12 student will get a sapling at the beginning of the year. They have to look after it throughout the year and will have marks added or deducted from their total depending on how their plant is doing. It seems like a great way to get students excited about helping the environment. The saplings are all native plants that do well in the soil of the state. If a student wants to plant a tree and take responsibility for it, that's possible too. If some enthusiastic ones want to run an entire nursery, they could. But I wonder when they'll prepare for their boards if they take on too much. The plants will give only additional marks, not all. Now let me tell you about our national karate champion, 23-year-old Amrit Kaur from Delhi. This spunky young lady won the country a gold last year at the South Asian Championship. But let's start at the start. Coming from a family of modest means, Amrit was focused on studies and loved playing badminton. She learned karate as a means of self-defense and then started enjoying it. She wanted to get better at the sport but could not afford any training. So she used her pocket money at cyber cafes and watched and learned from the best players' videos. She practiced at the local park till she got a scholarship in school. With that money, she took professional training and soon made it to the national team. She kept studying as well and graduated in English honours. Now, after her victory at the South Asian Games, she could be trained for the Olympics, but she would have to pay for her travel and stay overseas. Amrit could not afford that, so she opted out. She was competing for the President's Cup in Goa when she had an injury. She was home and upset. She shared her angst on social media. The next day, she got a call from Sonu Sood, who wanted to help her realize her dreams. His team helped her get a surgery done during the lockdown. Other businessmen came forward, and film producer Sujay Jairaj has taken her under his wing. She's now back to training and can now go abroad once travel is permitted. Irrespective of how she fares at the Olympics, her biopic is already being planned. Never underestimate the power of social media. Another story that deserves a film is the one I'm about to tell you. People in the drought-prone area of Sangli had heard of the Agrani river that apparently flowed there hundreds of years ago. In a village called Balwadi, 7 farmers decided to try and revive the river. A few more villagers joined in and they began cleaning and desilting the dry river bed. Next, they used sandbags as dams. Nothing happened in the monsoon, but they kept at it, spoke to some farmers in the villages beyond theirs, and they also did the cleaning process, made encroachers move away. Sampath Rao from the initial group began studying the issue, talking to experts. He requested people in his village to grow vegetables the next year and not sugarcane like they usually did. Thankfully, they listened to him. By the 4th year, they started noticing that the groundwater table had risen. Old wells now had water in them. That year when it rained, water started filling up the riverbed. Now the government officials and NGOs came to their village and offered to help. The residents of Balwadi were thrilled. With Jal Biradari, the NGO, The villagers spoke to others, and the entire 30-kilometer route the original river used to take was cleared up. The government helped with embankments and small dams. Patience was important, and the original 7 kept talking to other farmers to ensure nobody did anything to hamper the hard work. This was the 7th year, and when it rained, the Agrani River was gurgling with water. The water flowed for 30 kilometers where it met the large Krishna River. The villagers waited for a few days, and the flow only increased, so the river water was used for irrigation by 28,000 farmers. Post the monsoons, the river is still flowing in full force and the farmers are dancing with joy. Now back to Diwali. It's a wonderful time that everyone waits for. It can also get overwhelming for those alone and away from family. Here are some tips from experts that could help. To begin with, acknowledge your feelings. It's fine to feel low. Everyone is not living the life they project on social media. Now to feel better, please incorporate some exercise in your daily routine. The duration doesn't matter as much as the consistency does. Next, do something for yourself. For instance, if some relative always gets under your skin, avoid them this year. Give yourself the permission. Do something for others. Volunteer your time to help the less privileged. Even if it means just going down and feeding strays in the area, do it. Now is also the time to get onto video calls with family, friends, old schoolmates, college mates, and have fun. Sing songs, play games, get goofy. Get a gift or mithai and visit your neighbors. Try these and have a happy Diwali. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on IVM Network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, it's at Shifa Maitra on Instagram and Twitter. I will see you soon with a new episode of Smile India.
I hope you enjoyed that show. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's been a really, really great week on the network. Let me make a couple of recommendations to you guys. Agla Station Adulthood, they have an extraordinary episode on relationships. Ritasha and Ayushi, as always, do a bang-up job. I think you'll really enjoy that conversation. Check out Edges and Sledges, where DJ Ashwin and Varun have been talking to fans from different IPL teams on every episode. It's a really, really interesting project they've taken on during the course of the IPL. And as it comes to a conclusion, I'm sure you'll love to hear the thoughts on the tournament as a whole. I want to mention Uncle Please Sit. They had a really great episode which dove into why is pollution so bad. And I think that given the circumstances we're dealing with right now, it makes a ton of sense to listen to that. Cyrus had a really great week on his show as well. On the Monday episode, he spoke to Raj and DK about all kinds of stuff. He was in one of their early movies. Definitely a fun conversation to check that out. And finally, let me talk to you about the Wire Talks with Siddharth Bhatia. We're very excited about this show. On the first episode, Jairam Ramesh is there having conversation with Siddharth Bhatia about the legacy of Indira Gandhi. I think you will really, really get something out of this. Do give it a listen. And with that, I hope to see you again next week.
Entertainment is like food for the brain. It's a window to culture and a great way to understand the world around us. The internet has changed what it means to be an entertainer, creating new storytellers with millions of fans. It has spawned a new breed, the story sellers, those behind the scenes creating the business for this ecosystem. They work with brands, platforms and channels who are keen to capitalize on an audience hungrier than ever for more stories. I'm Vineet Kanabar and I have a ringside view to how stories are told and sold. On my show, I bring you creators, artists, executives and marketers for a freewheeling conversation around the business of entertainment. Tune in to Storytellers and Story Sellers for personal stories, analysis and criticism every Thursdays as I talk to the brightest minds telling or selling great stories today.